everybody? This is UFC President Dana White, and you're listening to the Cheap Pop Radio.
I got long sideburns and my hair slicked back. I'm coming to your town in my pink Cadillac. I'm just a honky-tonk man. I'm just a honky-tonk man. I'm just a honky-tonk man. I'm cool, I'm cocky, I'm bad. I pick a mean guitar, I wear a blue suede shoes. You ought to hear me sing the snakeskin blues. I'm just a honky-tonk man. I'm just a honky-tonk man. I'm just a honky-tonk man. I'm cool, I'm cocky, I'm bad. Roll, Elvis, let the honky-tonk man show you how to rock and roll. Elvis knew he couldn't carry a tune if it had handles on it. Ooh, have mercy, baby. Listen to the honky-tonk man pick that guitar. Don't make you running wild. I got Peggy Sue beside me, the colonel's in the back. I'm coming to your town in my pink Cadillac. I'm just a honky-tonk man. Just a honky-tonk man. I'm just a honky-tonk man. I'm cool, I'm cocky, I'm bad. I'm just a honky-tonk man. 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 I'm cool, I'm cocky, I'm bad. I'm just a honky-tonk man. I'm cool, I'm cocky, I'm
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Cheap Pops Radio, coming at you live from the studio apartment in Tomball, Texas. This is Thomas, the Hitman Bars. We got a really special guest today. We've got the smart, the most handsome man in podcasting.
I am the handsome man in podcasting.
Cheap Pops Radio OG, Jaime Martinez.
What up, what up, what up? Is it 420 somewhere?
It's 420 everywhere.
Yeah, for real.
And we've also got the $20 man decided to actually show up to work on time today.
$20 man always. If he outside your bathroom window, he know he got to get the job done. He gonna find a way in. It don't matter what he got to do to get them bookings.
That's kind of scary, $20.
It don't matter. Ain't no shame. Just bookings like potato chip. You can't just be having one, dog.
Stop trying to steal, Jaime's shine.
No, he's stealing my shine. But I heard there's a rumor going around that September 18th that $20 man's actually bought a ticket to a wrestling show. Yes. He thought he was gonna get it for free.
Yeah, that's the thing, Jamie. Normally, $20 man have a fondness for you, but when he found out he had to pay to get in, kind of rubbed $20 man wrong way. But he'll forgive it. But the thing is, $20 man's gonna be there. He actually going to do Southeast Texas tour inspection tour. He's gonna be inspecting promotion, make sure y'all running that shit the right way. And he gonna start out with local wrestling.
Oh shit! So you're gonna make the Texas tour?
Yeah, he's gonna take it to inspections.
Hey man, speaking of local wrestling, I remember when local wrestling first started. We started talking about here on Cheap Pops Radio. Oh my, how far it's come! Now you're working with GCW.
Yeah.
You got Nick Gage at shows, wrestling Sadiqa.
Yeah, no, that was a crazy match.
And it's just awesome to see local wrestling kind of cross-pollinating with these huge indie companies like in America.
Yeah, we got a little a bit of everything. We got some AEW guys, GCW guys, a lot of guys from Texas. So we appreciate everybody supporting Loco and. Oh man, it's just gonna grow from here, I guess.
And you were also actually just recently in Vegas, correct?
Oh yeah, I went to go help out GCW with their off the rails event, and it was a great experience. I got to hang out with Juventud Guerrero on Thursday. We shut the bar down, you know what I mean? We and we smoked a lot of herbage, you know what I mean? There was a lot legal stuff over there, so. We sat there and, we hung out and enjoyed. It was called the Nerd Bar.
Interesting.
Nerd
So you hung out with the world famous luchador of old school WCW.
The Juice.
Juicy.
Lucha Guerrero.
We
was
were
a nerd
drinking
bar.
Stone Cold IPAs. I
Damn.
think between me and him, I think we drank like a 12 packs worth together, and if there were 16 ounces too. So, I shit you not, I didn't eat anything. That was the mistake that I made. So I was tossed. And then the tequila shots, the juice. He was feeling juicy. We went to the dispensary, I think, at least 3 times. So I must have spent like at least $100 just on like that legal weed and shit like that. And I had a great time. And dude, like, it's weird to smoke weed in the streets legally, dog. Like for real, it felt like Amsterdam or some shit like that.
That's so crazy how certain parts of America are so open, and you can be free, and you can kind of just have fun, and just as long as you're acting like a reasonable adult,
Yeah.
you can kind of partake in different activities. But you come to some place like Texas here, like you try to do that here, you go to jail.
Yeah, exactly, dude. I was just minding my own business, smoking blunts and drinking beer and having a good time, and they left me alone. Nobody really said anything. I smoked the Moonrock blunt. I smoked the blunt. I smoked the
We
blunt.
don't open the rabbit hole.
Oh, okay, check this out. I went from my hotel. It was me and the homie Dante. We walked, smoked the blunt to the dispensary to get a cheaper price because the prices weren't there, and it was right next to the Pawn Star place. That was crazy. So we went to the dispensary, bought some goodies, and then we went to go check out the Pawn Star place. It was pretty litty.
The man woke up, he thought it was 1955 all over again.
For real,
It's crazy. That man,
I know.
This man over here.
I had my Starbucks. I was just like enjoying. I was living my best life.
It sounds like a basic white girl, bro.
Right?
Hey, we've got one more special guest that's actually going to be on the show today. The world's most famous wrestling fan, wrestling's original crying man, Dave Wills. It's still real to us, damn it.
Oh, it's still real to me, damn it.
Hey, you gotta love that guy.
Dude,
Because
I love his passion.
We all have felt that way about something that's happened in wrestling.
Oh, yeah.
Wrestling is one of the only, kinds of entertainment that's live, like a live sport. But you always have those plot twists, kind of like you get in Star Wars or like Marvel and DC.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, wrestling has a brilliant way of creating those moments that just make you want to cry.
Yeah. I think the last wrestling thing that made me cry was probably, I would say the dark side of, it was probably the Owen Hart Dark Side of the Ring. That made me fucking cry.
Oh, I get in my feelings when I watch Dark Side of the Ring.
And then the Eddie one, like, they told the Eddie story on the Benoit one, and that fucking, tore me. That had me, like, kind of bawling and shit like that. I think it was Mark Henry. Was it Mark Henry? And he had, like, Andre the Giant's, like, coat, and then he just started crying, and that made me cry. Because I felt that, like, to be like an Andre fan, and then like be a little. It's almost like putting on a piece of him on your body and shit. So
yeah. I'll be honest. Like when CM Punk came back, like I felt a certain kind of way. We're gonna see what Dave thinks about the return of CM Punk.
$20 man had a moment too. Y'all ain't just gonna ignore it, but he getting choked up about. It's back in Dow Hart, Texas, Mid-South. He's and the mayor out there.
yeah,
He was some Mexican. They got a little carried away. He reminded $20 man of somebody. He did think he was promoter after all, but he's just the mayor of the city. And he shut down Mid-South. But first show back, when we got our license back, $20 man got emotional because he had Dirty Sanchez in main event against Evaporator. And that shit hit hard. Dow Hart, Texas was there. They picked wrestling over high school football games.
the Friday Night Lights was shining down on that.
I've never actually. I'm gonna be honest with our fans that's here at Cheap Pops Radio on Spotify, YouTube, iHeartRadio. I've never actually seen proof that this Mid-South Wrestling exists.
Oh, you can go to hell, son.
Nah, it's real.
Yeah,
It's
tell this
real.
man, Jamie.
I already
that man
know.
gonna go to hell for that.
Yeah, I think he
The hell
is,
your
dog.
problem? $20 man gonna call management after this.
Tell him about Die Hard. Mid-South South shutting the whole town down. They made $20 Man made people forget about football for one night on a Friday night.
Hey, man, son, right there.
It's still real to them, damn it. We'll be right back here on Cheap Pops Radio, sponsored by JFT Shirts and Cartoon U.
This is owner and promoter Jaime Martinez with Loco Wrestling. And if you want to follow us on our social medias, please go to our Facebook at Loco Wrestling. It's the same for Instagram and Twitter. So, upcoming events, September 18th, Reggie, featuring Loki, Mil Muertes, Savio Vega, and so much more. Our next event is November 20th. It's the good, the bad, and the fake. Card, everything is going to be announced very, very soon. And December, coming soon, Fight Club 2, GCW versus Loco. So any updates, go to Facebook, Instagram, and if you want to buy tickets, go to Loco Wrestling Big Cartel. And if you want any merch or swag, anything to do with Loco Wrestling, just slide into my DMs at Jaime Martinez on Facebook, and we can get you squared away. So, I'll see you at the next show, and if it ain't Loco, it ain't Fire Daddy. This ain't no home sweet home, it's a home sweet misery. We knew when we got here, they tried to pull us away. But when they seen us walk down the street, they ran the other way. Back Street, Atlanta, GA. Back Street in the whole USA. Back Street, nasty and hot. The further down the block you went, the better it got. Jump in, like a big brow. Old lady Duffy, she don't get the cops call. She might as well call the Army or the United States Marines. Cause can't nobody handle this bad street scene. Bad street, Atlanta, GA. Bad street in the whole USA. Bad street, nasty and hot. The further down the block you went, the better it got. And they thought that they were hot. They thought that they were nasty. Couldn't make it down our block. But I'll never forget it, hearing that Eminence driver say, someone should have told those boys about Bad Street USA. So don't you come looking on the side of town. Cause this is where the free birds live and everything's going down. If you don't know by now, we always get our way. That's the way it is down here on Bad Street USA. Bad Street, Atlanta, GA. Bad Street in the whole USA. Bad Street, nasty and hot. Further down that block you with the bell it got.
Next question, Jeff. Where are you? Right there.
Yeah. I just want to thank each and every one of y'all for all you've done to your bodies. It's still real to me, damn it.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Cheap Pops Radio. We got a very special guest here on the show. We've got It's Still Real to Us, the world's most famous wrestling fan, David Wills. How are you, sir? Welcome to the show.
Hey, what's going on, man? Just appreciate you looking out for me, man. Thanks very much for that great introduction. Some people actually mess it up and call me Willis, but I know you're fantastic, one of the best. Hey, I'm proud to be on the podcast, brother. This is fantastic, man.
Hey,
Y'all
man.
are number one in Texas.
Yeah, man. Thank you for coming on the show, man. And like, we wanted you on because it's like the coolest like feel good story. You know what I mean? Like everybody's seen that video, and like everyone that watches wrestling has had that moment where they just kind of broke down. You know, because it is real.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Wrestling is real.
Yeah, it is.
And I just kind of
Yeah,
wanted.
a whole lot more happened after the damn CM Punk intro. What's
Hell
up
yeah.
with that? Yeah, in the words I heard, they're stealing my freaking gimmick. I mean, come on. Anyway. Wrestling can be emotional. When done right, wrestling can make you stand up, cheer, boo, get angry, get happy, throw babies in the air, curse, should, do whatever, propose probably. When done right, it's a hybrid of entertainment. You see all kind of gymnastics, brawling, feats of strength, drama, comedy. Hybrid form of entertainment. You'd have to have Broadway shows in the circus and, all high wire acts all combined to make wrestling. When done wrong, when done right, there ain't nothing a whole lot better. When done wrong, God, there ain't a whole lot worse. Anyway.
Yeah, that is true. That is
a
very
good point.
true.
Yeah, no, that's perfect.
Anyways, being in it happened to me suddenly. I was an accidental viral video star, needless to say. I was at a tribute to Starrcade in Spartanburg, South Carolina. One that Tony Hunter promoted, and it was a fun day. I went up there with my buddy Craig, and I got to meet all kinds of superstars. I got to see Mick Foley, who I hadn't seen in years. Years ago, I used to mow his grass. He lived in the Ackworth area where I live.
Really? That's awesome.
Yeah. Mick was cool. I got to see his. I think it's Plymouth that he bought from RPM Mike Davis. Moonrock. Oh God, I love Maniac Mike Davis and RPMs. But I got to see Mick Foley. Got to see Harley Race. Harley Race was in a wheelchair. Foley wasn't getting around too good. Funk was there. The King, Jerry Lawler. Got to meet my favorite wrestler, the Barbarian. Yes, Conga Variety preferred. Nord Variety, excellent top shelf as well. But we like King Kong, the Barbarian, the one people know in the Powers of Pain.
Yeah. Right.
Emotional, very emotional. That's also one of the times when one of the wrestlers at the WWE was sent home. Apparently he may have been pilled up or something. And, and I got to later talk addiction with Dr. Tom Pritchard, who is just one of the greatest guys in the world. I saw him just the other week and all. Great guys I saw. But they had a lot of conversation in the Q&A. People in the video are Bill Apter from PWI was doing the moderation, Terry Funk, Jim Cornette, Loverboy, Dennis Condrey, and rest in peace, beautiful Bobby Eaton, one of the nicest guys in the world. Yeah. God, I love that fella.
Yeah.
And everybody misses him. No one had a bad thing to say about Bobby. But everybody was in there doing Q&A. And they said, and Funk had brought up earlier in the show, if you trace back the history of any place of any size, Spartanburg, South Carolina, where we were at, if you look, every city has a crack house. You trace back the history for the last 5 years, you'll see that wrestling's had way more deaths than that crack house has had at all. Right. And I got to thinking, I thought that was when we had a lot of problems with wrestlers dying before their time, and people having, battling demons, as they call it. I think it's a little purified, but they were having issues. A lot of stuff going on during that time, as a matter of fact, and just a lot of stuff. And he said, wrestling needs to clean up itself. Even if we have to withhold our love from the people we've trained till they clean up their act, because we got to clean it up, because it's at a point where we have to. And I appreciate Terry Funk saying that. Thank you, Mr. Funk, for saying what needed to be said. I thought that needed to be said. And then they were later talking about, what would you like? Who would you like to have a match with? And everybody had an answer. And then Funk said, I'd like to have one more match with Eddie Guerrero. That was also the week that Eddie Guerrero had died. He had passed away.
Yeah, that hit hard.
A universal good guy. People liked him. You want to root for the guy. I mean, some people you want to root for. You see how their character are. You realize they're a good guy. You want to root for them in life. Whether they, never could. You thought they never could. Make it or whatever, or that, they wouldn't get the push they got. Sometimes people overcome what should be a limitation and blow it out of the park. I got a sidetrack on that coming up. But he said he'd like to have one more match with Guerrero, and a lot of people were thinking about Guerrero. And I was thinking about Guerrero for sure, because I don't think there was a dry eye anywhere watching the TV talking about Eddie when he passed and when they did a tribute. And I also was thinking about, too, some interviews with Cactus Jack, Mick Foley, about, the deaths in wrestling. I was thinking about that, and, I was already emotional. I met Barbarian for the first time and Jerry the King, and I'm thinking, there's interviews that Foley had done. He said, pain hurts. It hurts. I lost my ear because we didn't know the German word for formaldehyde or what have you. How many of you guys who have talked about all the great dives and stuff that you've done, Mankind, whatever, how many of you guys have called up Dynamite Kid and thanked him for all the dives on the concrete floor he did, even though he's broke and don't have a pot to piss in or even a window to throw it out of? He was homeless, too.
Right.
And I wanted to stand up and ask a question and say, thanks for saying what needs to be said. I don't want to see another one of these deaths. It sounded great in my head. The execution, well, that's open for interpretation. Instead of, thank you for saying what needs to be said, I don't want to see another one of these. It was, Mr. Funk, thank you for saying what needs to be said. I don't want to see it. And then I had a momentary case of Tourette's. And, well, hell. I had no idea that he played on the Jimmy Kimmel show and ridiculousness on MTV and all this other stuff.
So Dave, I had a question to ask about that moment.
Sure.
Everybody sees what happened when you said what you said, and you got emotional. What happened after that? What did the wrestlers say or to you?
Well, I'd ask. As a matter of fact, there was very little. I immediately gained control of myself, composed myself, and I asked, hey, y'all are awesome. I wonder if y'all had any memories of a great wrestler, Captain Redneck, Dick Murdoch, and because there's a lot of stories about Dickie Boy. And then they told some stories, and that was fine and dandy, and I left. Later in the day, I didn't stay for the whole event. I was, only up there for part of the day. I pretty much drove up there to meet the Barbarian, honestly. I mean, that's the shoot part of it. Had no idea I'd be going viral, but I mean, it's interesting. I've had conversations, because back then you had a major drug problem, people ODing and stuff like that. I can't remember if it may have been with Dr. Tom, or it may have even been with Road Dogg at an indie show I did. But it was like, hey, when you're in front of people every night, one of them told me this, when you're in front of people every night and you're the entertainment, when you get back to the hotel room and you're not who in front of all these fans, you're not the character you're portraying. You have bills, you're like everybody else, a family you're away from. What entertains you? And you think about it, and that's how people get involved in some of that stuff. For whatever, they're, missing family, whatever. And
I agree.
It's a problem, and I'm glad that it's been cleaned up. Vince McMahon can say that the wellness program is strictly PR. All he wants. I don't give a damn what it is. As long as it saves a life, I'm good with it, because I think the boys should be taken care of. I think they should be respected. I think they should be helped out in other things. I think they should be, hell, Screen Actors Guild, takes stunt people. Why not? But, that's exactly a different topic for a different day. But, he's making tons of money from Peacock, tons of money from NBC.
Yep.
Hey, let me tell you, I'm glad that we've seen a lot of that come down. I still am concerned with all the acrobatics and all the bumps people are taking now, because the body don't hold up as well coming up. Hey, I'm 47 years old. Dude, hey, everybody has a problem getting out of bed. I ain't taking a car crash every night. When you're taking a suplex or a drop kick or coming off the rope and whatever, Benoit was doing that headbutt off the top of the rope, off the top rope and everything.
Yep.
Did he have CTE? Who knows? It's not my place. I didn't know the man personally. But good God, I hope people are taking care of themselves, and I am concerned, and I just don't want to see a tragedy happen again. Yeah. Could it? Yeah, but hopefully things will be scaled back. I think a lot can be said about storylines. A lot can be said about psychology and doing stuff like that, as opposed to overdosing on all the flip and flop and fly, because at the end of the day, I want to see something. I was thoroughly entertained by world-class wrestling with the Von Erich.
Oh, yes. WCCW.
Man.
Classic.
I couldn't stand the Von Erich. I loved when Eric Embry showed up and took over. I'm like, yeah, get him, Eric. I'm like, why am I cheering Eric Embry for? But I love Eric. He's back with world-class. And
for me, myself,
Revolution.
That's actually how I was introduced to wrestling. Was as a kid on like Saturday Night Live. Saturday nights, my mom would make those little Totino's party pizzas and raviolis.
I love those damn things. They're so not keto friendly, but those are fantastic. Yeah, pop.
We used to do that. We used to watch WCCW because it came on late at night. And like my favorite memory was that match with Ric Flair and Kerry Von Erich. And it was for the NWA Championship, I believe so.
Yeah.
No kidding. What I actually enjoyed was I enjoyed all the world class, but I enjoyed it because then, all the tragedy of Von Erichs. I enjoyed when the Eric Embry stuff came in there, and they had Flamboyant Eric Embry against Devastation Incorporation with Gary Young and Cactus Jack and all those guys, Taurus Bulba. I'm like, this is the this is the greatest thing I've ever seen in my life. So, and I got
this
to
is
see
pre-internet,
Gary.
pre-everything.
I got to see Eric and Gary at the Gathering Fan Fest just the other week in Charlotte, and it's good to see both of them are doing good. Eric's tremendous. He's hilarious, too, Hey, he'll tell you what he thinks. He ain't here to kiss no tail. That's why I like him, too. He's a pretty straight-up shooter. But I'm sorry, I'm getting all over the place. Y'all doing the interviews, push me back in.
All right, Dave. So I got one more question for you. Going back to your moment that got you pretty big here. How soon did it take to realize you were internet famous? Like, how fast did that happen? Because we know that didn't happen at today's time where everything's so instantaneous.
I was on a tape trading board, which I'll remain nameless because there might have been some classic wrestling DVDs that I acquired that way when I was tape trading and stuff like that. And I don't know what the copyright laws are. The statute expired. But let's just say I was having a conversation with somebody. The person, I think they were called Ace or Ace in the Hole or something. And I looked at their tagline. It says, it's still on me, damn it. I'm like, that's a great line. I've used that before myself. And the person responds back, have you seen the clip? I'm like, the clip? The clip. Oh, damn, I'm viral.
Big pop.
And E-Bomb's World had it, and people are up there.
Okay.
And all. The funny thing is that, I mean, it just went all over kind of quick.
Yeah.
People were talking about, because they said Jeff Riet, he's the guy holding the microphone. Funny thing is, people are up there said, who is this guy? Who is this guy? Kind of like the same thing with the AEW guy, with the Punk fan. And people are up there doing it. Well, so I see that going on, and see I'm apparently the subject of the day, flavor of the week. I go up there and say, yeah, I'm me. People didn't believe me. I'm like, I don't see people standing in line to take credit for being me. Hello. But whatever. You got to show some proof. I'm like, who the hell are you to tell me to provide you proof of anything? You know, but they finally figured out. So, you know.
Got you.
I mean,
we're going to take a real quick break here on Cheap Pops Radio. We'll be right back with Dave Wills.
Say
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Cheap Pops Radio, man. We're here with David Wills. Man, thanks for coming on the show. And let's go back to, WCCW and like that hot fire. There was like the Von Erichs and the Freebirds and like Abdullah the Butcher.
Oh man, Abby's fantastic. I like to get out to Texas myself. Number one, Texas is wonderful because you have the In-N-Out Burger, and I'm not having. For the shoot job, I had to go to Oklahoma recently. So here I go into Dallas, Texas. I'm like, where is it? Let me see. Give me an In-N-Out Burger. Give me a little mustard, a little grilled onions. A few pickles, make it like a crystal, and give me 4. Better yet, give me more than that. I'm taking them with me. I'm like, I am keto unfriendly and eating the In-N-Out Burger. Someone said, what does it taste like? I said, heaven. But then again, that's just, I may be biased. I hear we're getting the Whataburger up here in Kennesaw, about 3 miles from the house. Tom Pritchard's told me about the greatest of Whataburger.
That is fire.
My mom said,
Whataburger's the shit, dude. It's awesome.
My mom said, "Is Whataburger good?" She says, "I hear." Well, no, my dad said, "I hear we're getting the Whataburger. Are they any good?" I go, "Wrong place coming to town. Should have been In-N-Out." This one.
Oh,
I may have to figure out a way to survive on it anyway. I probably gained like 1,000 pounds. I probably look like Mr. Well, I'm not Mr. Jeep Swinson, but I mean,
That's one thing you can say about
Texas.
Texas always has good food. It's got the greatest Mexican food in the world.
Yeah, that's true.
Other than being in Mexico.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah.
Well, I've never been to Mexico, but I've been to Fuel City Tacos more than once. So, everything else.
So
anyway, we're talking about food on Cheap Food Radio.
That's right.
We got hungry all of a sudden.
Yeah, we're getting hungry.
So, one thing I had a lot of interest to ask you, because I know you're like an old school NWA fan, and that's how I was when I was a kid. Like, I always favored NWA more so than, WWE. But what do you think about, like, modern day WWE? Like, what do you think about AEW? The differences between the new school and the old school? Because there's always that debate, because like you kind of briefly touched on earlier, like the old school, it was more story oriented to create those moments, whereas now they go for more of like the quick pop. You know what I mean?
Well, I think there's a place and time for all different kind of groups. As you're seeing now, a lot of places are doing different things. You got some organizations in Texas that are doing their own thing. I think SWE is doing their thing. I think Emory's starting up something, or is going to be involved with World Class something. I think it's the Next Generation or the Next whatever.
Oh, that's interesting.
I can't remember what it is. You got that. You got the NWA, MLW, TNA, Impact, AEW. Hey, here's the thing. I can go ahead and complain about anything I want and, nitpick and whatever. But here's the thing. Even when I was old school fan, I'd watch some stuff I like, and I'd watch stuff I didn't like. I enjoy the stuff I like, and I tried to ignore the rest of it. I thought the thing with Punk was tremendous. I thought that the thing with Punk with AEW was tremendous. I don't watch as much WWE. I'll be honest. I do it whenever I am watching, somebody like Apollo Crews, when he was training, with WWA 4 and Curtis Hughes. I dealt with Uha Nation all the time. Called a lot of his matches, did some interviews. So a lot of guys I'll watch like that. I love ROH, believe it or not. That's fantastic stuff. A huge John Gresham fan. Jonathan Gresham is not only a great guy, he's also a great friend. I've known him forever, too.
They're going to do Jonathan Gresham versus Minoru Suzuki at Game Changer Wrestling.
Really?
Yes. That's going to be absolute fire. If you're like a big fan of like that old school style, that's right up your alley.
I love the stuff with Malenko Guerrero and stuff like that, the scientific stuff, and, Mysterio and Malenko and what have you. Yeah. And Gresham I don't want to compare to Eddie Guerrero on some aspects, But Gresham to me has always been a guy. When I was calling his matches at WWA 4 next to Mr. Hughes, I thought, oh my God, guy is so talented. But the way how they're doing things right now, it's a crying shame he may never get a break. And I'm so glad I was so freaking wrong and the ROH gave him one. Because the stuff he's done with Yay High and some of the matches here, Brody King, and I mean, the man is talented as hell, okay?
Hell yeah, the
guy
octopus.
is tremendous. And you don't even know what all he can do because he showed you everything. I saw him do so much at WWA 4, and that was probably 10 years ago, or 12 years ago. He's even better now.
He looks
He's
more
better
jacked.
and Gresham ain't done. He's still going to be, as long as he keeps himself healthy. And I love the style. It's like a hybrid shooter style. You never know where he's coming with. He can beat you with anything. You can get into the sports aspect. What's his finisher? He can use 1,000 of them. He's got all kind of them. It could be something out of the blue. You're not even expecting the arm drag,
Yeah.
Gresham, I think that's great. I think like the foundation stuff. I like NWA. They're doing their little pay-per-view this week.
Yeah.
By the time that y'all are dropping this, we will know who won and lost. So I will not go into prognostications. But I like what they're doing. I think the Trevor Murdoch Nick Hall dispute's fantastic. I enjoyed that.
That's some classic wrestling shit.
Yeah, it takes you back.
MLW, stuff like that, that's great stuff too. Von Erich's Freebird, like, hey man, there's plenty of stuff to like. Okay, go bitch about it, whatever you want to do. Yeah, a lot of people can be complaints and they're critics and something.
Yeah, and there's something for everybody. There's something for everybody.
Okay. Here's the thing. The last thing I need is a bunch of more analysis of something. I don't overthink it. Do I look at something and say, well, that kind of didn't look right or something? Yeah, I mean, I've done some managing. I've done some announcing. I get it. I'm not in the business. I'm not actively doing anything. But if you want to book me, I'm cheaper than what you think. But seriously, though, come on. I mean, you can bellyache about something. And some people, that's the way they make their living, and that's cool, man. Some people are going to hate on something. Hey, I don't like that group. I like this group. I mean, it's almost as bad as Republican Democrat. I hate you because you're not me.
Right.
It's true. It's true.
I don't care. I watch AEW. I watch NWA. I watch whatever. Hey,
I just love wrestling.
Hey, put me some global on there. I love Jackie Goldman. Hey, why not?
Dude,
He's a great guy, too. I love Johnny Tatum. He's hilarious.
Like, I really love the vibe that they give with NWA Power because it gives you that whole retro feel because there's always that kid in us
that studio wrestling
remembers
vibe.
that studio wrestling.
It takes you back.
Well, see,
it just takes you back.
So here's the thing. With NWA, people say, well, you're in Georgia. You were a Georgia fan. You were NWA fan. Wrong. Let me tell you where I was. What hooked me years ago was I got hooked on Bill Watts' UWF.
Oh, Bill Watts.
When they went ahead and put the Russian flag over the big cowboy, when Eddie Gilbert came out and said, here's the flag, Mr. Watts, here's the flag. I'm going to disassociate myself with the Russians. They were putting the flag over, people they'd beaten, which I think is tremendous. And they had the call-offs in town that day. And, of course, the Blade Runners came out. And he's like, no, I'm still going to manage the Blade Runners. I'm just disassociating myself with the Russians. And I'm thinking, cool. I'm thinking, okay, that's plausible. He's not turning good. I didn't know what a face or a heel is. I just didn't want someone to put their heel in my face. But, I mean, it seemed good. It's like, let's burn it. I'm thinking, hell yeah, we're going to burn the Russian flag. I even told Koloff on Twitter. He's the best. I said, I hated you when I was a kid. I'm like, I didn't even trust you when you were Dusty's partner. Then all of a sudden, Chirico comes out there, Uncle Ivan. Nikita, they all start beating them watch. I don't know where the hell he got a garden trowel or a garden shovel, but then Gilbert starts beating up watch. The Blade Runners are beating up, anybody coming to the ring. They put the Russian flag over the cowboy. I was up there, that's the son! That's the son! I'm like, I'm hooked. I'm just now having my first hit of crack. I'm going to be watching this every time. And it wasn't like I was out there, getting lucky on the week. I mean, hey, Dave, how were your high school years? I couldn't get lucky with a fistful of 50s and a bag of smoke. Not that I had either or was trying to or anything, believe me. But I mean, they had Superstars of Wrestling that was broadcast in Atlanta, 8 hours of wrestling every Saturday night, 10 if you want to watch WTBS. Probably a couple more if you want to watch whatever else was on the other show. I didn't have to have a social life. I was a nerd who liked wrestling. Right. I'm proud of it, But, I always wanted to see Uncle Ivan Koloff walk out with Goldberg. I really did.
Dude, that would be awesome.
That would have been badass.
And Goldberg and, those guys, like, the King of Koloff, are great examples of kind of the difference between, the old school and the new school. Because when you look back at a lot of those old guys, like the older school guys, like Goldberg, Bruiser Brody, like Abdullah the Butcher, if you saw those guys in Walmart, you were going to walk the other way, right?
Right, I would.
Well, Koloff was out there at ringside. He wasn't even trained. He was watching Barry Darsow as Crusher Khrushchev and Ivan Koloff for a year and learned to work. I mean, he didn't know what the hell he was doing. They brought him down from Eddie Sharkey's. That's what happened with Koloff. But doggone, here's the thing. Remember, I tell people this. Rule number 1, get over. Rule number 2, who the hell cares? You're over. Hey.
That's how it works.
Someone said, Dave, what do you think? I said, I'm over. Hey, give me the rule number 1.
And so I got to ask you this real quick. When all this happened, you go viral, who's the first person you told?
You think I'm telling people I'm viral?
Like, did you call your mom? Did you call your girlfriend? Like, who'd you call? What was the first thing you did?
I think I called Craig. I think I called my buddy Craig. I don't remember. Like, it wasn't that big of a deal. I'm like, well, you can't put it out in the box. I just watched for a little bit and saw. I'm like, I'm in my mother's basement. I'm in my mother's basement eating Cheetos in my own underwear. She doesn't have a basement, boy. I even get on YouTube sometime, responding to the trolls and everything, I'm a lot nice to say, hey, you prick. I'm like, oh, really? I don't eat Cheetos in my mother's basement. I'm the nicest guy in the world, My mother doesn't have a basement, But, hey, I got over. I got on Tosh.0. Thank you for the free ticket to Los Angeles. Thank you very much for that. Thank you for the per diem money. Thank you for royalties now that I'm SAG-AFTRA eligible. Finally.
Oh, shit.
Oh, yeah, brother.
53-cent check one time. Thank goodness I got at least 100 the last time. Come on. I had the big time when they first released it. Oh, I got some royalties.
Yeah. And when you talk, like, you're such a down-to-earth, like, really humble guy. Like, was that crazy, like, going through all that, and, like, everybody wants to talk to you?
Yeah.
And you're going all these places. Like, how did you stay, like the world's most famous wrestling fan and still be humble?
Because I don't have a big head. I'm not a mark for myself like I had these people. I wrestled in front of 6 people last week. I brought the house down. I paid to be in the main event. Shut up, Mark. Go away. I had somebody tell me one day, they said, it was like, you're the most well-known wrestling fan. I was married at the time, now happily divorced. But I was married at the time.
That was all of us, brother.
I was married at the time. I get the wife in the car and said, we're going up to Anarchy where I'd never been. Watch this. I'm the most well-known wrestling personality in America right now. Watch this. I walk in the door. Now, I should get a bigger pop than Cena, according to this jackass. Who's going to blow smoke up my... He's trying to blow smoke up my rectum. You're the most over. I'm like, yeah, real bitch, please. So I go up there and I'm sitting over here, people walking past me, going to get like hot dogs, concessions, popcorn. I go, and I'm the most over person, and not one person said a word to me. What the hell? And I'm real. I work a shoot job. Fame don't make you a bunch of money. I mean, how much money do I make? Now I get a few bucks from, I guess, the production company. But, I mean, that's only because I did a little thing with Glacier recently that's going to be released in a movie coming up. But, I mean,
nice.
The Replaceables is what it's called. Look for it, hopefully to be finished and released next year into this year or something. The Replaceables movie is tremendous. A lot of wrestling stars.
Awesome.
That's awesome because, that shows you dreams come true. Yeah. No matter who you are, what part of the world you're born in, dreams can come true if, you love it. If you have that true passion, if you have that, like you've got that humble personality, it didn't go to your head. You know what I mean?
Or if you work for it, dreams can come true.
True.
But here's the thing. Dreams don't play by light bill. Dreams don't make my power stay out.
All right.
I want to have an air conditioner with enough BTUs to keep my BUTT cool. Okay? It's not going to accept my dreams, okay, and my internet fame. So what do? We go to work every day and do our damn job. Boy, now that's a weird thing. You got to go in there. Hello, new prospective employer. I'm glad you've sent me an offer letter, and I'm glad you like me. But let me show you some video right here. You need to know about this because people will know. It's really weird, like going to Chili's or like, a podunk cat and day. You were on Comedy Central the other night. Wow, y'all have more than rabbit ears around here? I'm like, damn. And he looked like he had rabbit ears on his head. But I mean, you could be. Steve Kerr used to give interviews, But like I said, Bill Watts, who I grew up with, I love the Memphis stuff. Look at Memphis Wrestling, CWA, don't matter what you call it, love that stuff. But Steve Kerr used to do interviews on there. Well, everybody who's retired used to do interviews. What a dumbass I sound like. But one of the things he's saying in some of his interviews I heard is, it's nice to be important, but it's more important to be nice. So I try to be nice to people. And because, they talked about at Bob Eaton's funeral, they said, really, it doesn't cost you anything to be nice to somebody. And Bob was one of the nicest guys. Bobby was one of the nicest guys in the world. A lot of respect for him. Yeah. Super guy, always kind to me. And, I mean, he's right. Okay. Why be a jerk? If someone wants to come up there and say hi to me and, hey, get a picture, sure, why not? Now, if I'm being brought in as a vendor or something for a fan fest or something, well, I got to, stick to the promoter and follow the rules. But, I'm sure, I'm sure when my contract is started, if they want to buy me a beer or have me a few, whatever, I'm sure we can make that happen. But, I mean, it's not that big of a deal as far as I'm concerned. It's nice. At least I'm not robbing a bank, It's like, the people like Abdullah, Dutchman telling myself can't rob banks. Obviously, we're recognized. That's...
So real quick, why don't you go ahead and tell our viewers where they can find you? Tell promoters where they can book you. Put yourself over, brother.
Tell promoters where they can book me, find me. I'm on Twitter at Still Real Dave, original crying wrestling fan. At Still Real Dave, at Still Real Dave, at Still Real Dave. Message me. You can contact me direct message. You can contact me there. I got it'sstillrealtome.com or DaveWillsWrestling.com. I'm over there too. It's not even a part-time thing. Send me a message. If I don't get back to you, send me another one. Love to do a fan fest. Love them. Love going to them. Hey, book me. That's fun. In-N-Out Burgers will get your price up. But I mean, that's the easiest way. Hey, I've done some managing. I do some announcing. I can be a face or I can be a heel. Believe me, there's a lot of things I can heel on because there's a lot of people out there who really suck. But I tell you one thing that doesn't suck. What doesn't suck is Cheap Pops Radio, because I've had a hell of a time with you guys. Y'all were great. Love your show. And you still on me, damn it.
Yeah, brother.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, brother, man. We love you. We'd like to have you back on sometime, man. We'll get back with you. And if you have any kind of events or something you want to put over, always hit me up and I'll throw you on. I'll find some time for you. It'll be fun, man. Thanks a lot.
I do kindly appreciate that. Believe me, I could use that because now, even though you're the most well-known wrestling fan in the world, yeah, but I'm condemned to live a life traveling back and forth to shows with Curtis Hughes. No, I'm kidding. Curtis is my buddy. He's a superstar.
Yes, he is.
God, I hear that every single time. Oh boy. Anyways. But, yeah, it's been great, man. Y'all been fantastic. I can't wait to be back on there. And let me know when you get some Tortino's pizzas. I'll go out there and watch the rest of it.
Yes, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, on that note, we'll be right back here on Cheap Pops Radio, sponsored by JMT Shirts and Cartoon U.
This is your favorite artist, Ryan Shaw with Cartoon U. Check out my website, cartoon-u.com, your place for custom art, fan art, wrestling art, and logo designs. Use promo code CHEAPPOPS19 for a 15% off your order. And give me a follow on Instagram at CartoonRyan.
Everybody's got a price. Everybody's gonna pay. 'Cause the $1 Million Man always gets his way. Money, 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 money. Some might cost a little. Some might cost a lot. But I'm the $1 Million Man. And you will be bought.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're back here at Cheap Pops Radio. Special thanks to David Wills, the original crying wrestling fan. And it was great to have him, man. A lot of fun to talk to him. He's been viral. Literally the world's most famous wrestling fan.
Yeah, he is pretty famous, though. I've seen him everywhere. But yeah, man, shout out to him, dog.
It's always cool just sitting around, talking about that old school wrestling.
Dude, it was
dog,
so
he was dropping some obscure fucking names, dog. Like this was way back. I was like, bro. I was like, am I listening to a Jim Cornette podcast or what?
Yeah,
for real.
It's old school, man.
Hey, it's real to us, damn it.
Yeah.
No, because he said it was like 46, and I was like, okay, cool. So that means you were a couple of years back. So you must have got like late 70s. Like wrestling and shit like that. So, I mean, you got it. That's all the guys that were around that time.
And quickly, let's get to this real quick. Off air, like you boys were talking about. Actually, it was Ryan Shaw, my illustrious co-host, talking about his little Wrestling Empire phone app video game.
Wrestling Empire, dude. It's such a classic. It's got the callback to the classic Nintendo 64 wrestling game.
Yeah.
But it's got a promotion mode on there, and you can book shit, and you can be in different federations. They got like knockoffs, like Rippy Piper, so it's like Roddy Piper. But then I made my dude on there. I made Jaime.
Jaime Martinez.
You want to see what Jaime looks like?
Video game wrestling superstar. He's smart.
That's his fight gear right there.
Oh shit!
Look, I made Jaime on there.
That dude is a singlet.
Yeah. I made Jaime on there. He's got them jean shorts.
He got them jorts.
Hey, but he's only got $370.
That's what he started out
Jaime
with.
Martinez, our Smart, the Smart that we all know and love, is literally the biggest hustler in Texas wrestling.
Dude, he's rolling in. He's rolling.
Nobody hustles in wrestling more than Jaime Martinez.
Yeah, that's true.
I try, man. I try. I got my hustler degree from the streets.
Man, you got to tell us, real quick before we close everything out. It's been a great show. I mean, let's put over, local wrestling. I know you got big shows coming up in September.
September 18th.
You got one in November.
November 20th. And last night during Brett Lauderdale's live on GCW, he announced that Fight Club 2, GCW versus Loco, is happening in December. I know the exact date, but we haven't dropped it yet, but everything is going to drop soon. But September 18th, guys, Loco Wrestling presents Reggie. Dude, it's a big card. We're starting the event off with Ninja Mac versus Loki. We have Savio Vega versus Mecha Wolf. Then we got Mil Muertes versus Cuervo de Puerto Rico. We got Masada versus Gino. We got Gringo Loco teaming up with Sadika versus Crispy James versus
$20 man. Dude, $20 man loves her.
Yeah, anyway, Crispy James. Yeah. No, Christy James and Idol de Juarez. And then I'm trying to think of what there's our students, man. Dude, they've been working so fucking hard. And we just announced LX3. What's his name? Pantera Black Jr., Sebastian versus Just Nick, Demonio Cruz Jr., and Raxo. So Raxo's fire. Pantera Black, he runs Kingdom, and he just ran Thursday. So shout out to him. And it's just, I'm excited for our students to debut for our local show because that's what they were working towards. Like, they put in the grind, they put the work in, they did flea market shows, they did Sunday shows at Consejo Houston, anywhere where Pistol Pete booked them at, they put in work and they try to shine as hard as it, and now they're on a local show, so, and, there's you know what? There was one match that I forgot to and now there was a few matches. Chris Carter versus Dante Leon for the local heavyweight championship. You saw it at Lucha but this time around it's for the local heavyweight championship, and it's in under it's basically in local wrestling. Yeah. It's not local rules, but it's at local wrestling, so it's a different vibe, and they're fan favorites, so. And you
got Johnny Blade.
And speaking of, shout out, and you know what? Shout out to Johnny Blade for he's a big sponsor for the Masada Gino match, and he had a lot to do with that match. So if I'm gonna give some credit to, is my man Johnny Blade for that one. Yeah. And you know how you were talking about local rules? There is going to be a local rules on September 18th. We got Jamie motherfucking Lloyd versus MC Hardbody from Canada in the local rules match. I don't know what's going to happen in that match, but it's a local rules, so there's no rules. So it's going to go down. We're going to announce one more match. If I forgot any other matches, I am so sorry. I've been really, really busy. I don't know. Did I miss any matches?
I can't think anything.
Oh, I did. Bestia 666 versus Ray Fury.
Oh, I love Ray Fury. Ray Fury.
Yeah, I'm so sorry, Ray. If y'all hearing this, I'm sorry, guys. I'm on that Arabian tobacco. So, but yeah, it's gonna be a big event. Front row sold out. Fourth row sold out. Standing room during the admission sold out. So we only have second and third tickets left. If you buy front row, you're eligible for a raffle for a brand new Bray Wyatt belt, guys. Dang. Yeah. So, and if you're a big sponsor, if you're one of the big sponsors, you get 4 raffle tickets. So you got 4 chances to win. But anyways, the second row, they get a semi-pro Drago mask. So we're doing a raffle for that one. And In the third row, they get a signed. They're in a raffle for a signed Sammy Guevara belt.
I think I honestly think Jaime's head's about to explode.
Yeah.
I remember all these things.
Yeah, exactly.
After doing a podcast for 2 hours.
Yeah,
Dude,
but
you're on a magic carpet right now.
yeah, I'm sorry.
You're still spitting this out, though. So.
Yeah, I'm sorry, guys.
But, you know, speaking of vibe, you were talking about vibes earlier. Real quick before we close it out, you know, local wrestling is developed. You know, that cult following that you don't always see. You know what I mean? There's a million wrestling shows, especially just in Texas.
Yeah.
Like, it's hard to stand out because there's just too much. But local wrestling is kind of rose above, you know, those competitors. You've got that kind of PWG, that ECW atmosphere where the fans are juiced up.
Yeah.
Like, they're loving the action, you know what I mean? And there's passion. We had the world's most famous wrestling fan on tonight. And, you know, one thing we talked about was passion. And local wrestling and the fans, they have that passion that you only see in, like, spots like PWG. Or like ECW.
Yeah, we try to create a great vibe for everybody. It's just right. We built it up from the ground up. Remember, guys, from $5 to like $50 front rows, and they're sold out already. We give the fans what they want. This time around, we're actually going to give them an intermission. Shout out to Stonely Only Talk Radio for like sponsoring actually that intermission. So we're going to get fucked up during that intermission too. So, and shout out to our Jello Shot guy. He's one of our big sponsors also too.
Hey, I got to tell you, the Slow It Down Kids show, one of my favorite moments this year was when Santa Jaime went through the crowd with this big cooler and he's just handing out Jello shots. It was like Christmas. It was Christmas.
Santa Jaime.
He was just passing them out like little gifts to kids. It was amazing. That's one of my favorite. I mean, the show was fire, dude. Like Sammy throwing the belt and shit. But, but Jaime passing out the Jello shots was just such a magical moment. You don't see that at other promotions.
We did that at GCW, and the fans love it. It's just
fun,
it's a big party. And shout out to Tacos a la Madre. They're gonna be outside September 18th cooking it up with tacos. Really gorgeous, and it ain't regular ass tacos. They're really fucking fire ass tacos. It's BYOB. I think they're gonna be selling beer. So if you run out. The taco guys, go holler at them. They'll have beer for sale. Texas Deathmatch, they're going to be posted up there. Ace, the boot guy, he sells merch. So a lot of Lucha merch. So he's going to have some stuff. And who else? I think I got one more guy.
His head's about to explode.
I know, my head's about to explode, guys. I'm sorry. And I also want to give one more shout out, Wrestle Vlogs. Shout out to them. They've always been a great sponsor. And shout out to all the fan sponsors because they're big sponsors of local wrestling. And guys,
shout out to that guy Stoney.
Stoney Only.
Stoney, like the one that was trashing me on Facebook.
Oh!
Shout out to Stoney.
Stoney Only.
The indie wrestling scene is imploding.
Shit!
I had lunch with him last month or so.
Oh, okay.
And when I posted we were having lunch together, so the Mexican restaurant scene is imploding. It's a throwback to that Facebook.
And I didn't even get mad about it because that's just the passion that wrestling fans have.
Yeah.
I mean, with wrestling now and the way the internet's kind of affected it,
beef.
You'll see people beefing, you'll see people trashing each other, right? And the fans don't know.
They don't know.
They don't know anything. They're reading the comments, and they're just like, I don't know why the Thomas is trashing this guy.
For real. They just you cut one of them Jim Cornette type promos.
Yeah.
Without saying fuck you and like bullshit and shit like that, dude.
The thing about Thomas though is he don't care. You could be a public figure, a promoter. It don't matter, dude.
Yeah.
You just. Dave. The world literally earlier today, like he's literally the world's most famous wrestling fan.
Yeah.
And he himself said, "Don't be a mark for yourself."
Yeah.
And so when I see that, it's like this guy, like you've never even went to wrestling school.
Yeah.
How are you marking out for yourself on Facebook if you've never even gone to wrestling school? If you've never sat there and did twists and turns and flips until you threw up?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I've done that before many times, and it's humbled me. It's humbled me.
Until you've done that, don't be a mark for yourself on the internet. It is what it is.
I'm not a mark for myself at all. I just want people to like local wrestling. Please be a mark for local wrestling, not me. Yeah. But I'm just the guy who hosts local wrestling. My name is Jaime, and I'm going to show you a badass time September 18th. Local Wrestling presents Reggie, because it's an experience, Daddy. You're going to come out fucking excited talking about this, telling your fucking friends about local wrestling, because if there's one thing that I'm cocky about is that local wrestling is motherfucking fire, because if it ain't local, it ain't fire, Daddy.
Ladies and gentlemen, on that note, thank you to the smart Jaime Martinez for joining us. Thank you, Ryan Shaw. We want to say a special thank you to the $20 man who was here earlier tonight.
Yeah, that was awesome.
And a real special thank you to the original Crying Wrestling fan, Dave Wheels.
Where?
It was fire though. So glad we had him on.
No, it's still real to me, damn
It's
it.
still real to us, damn
I'm gonna buy your merch, Daddy. I'm gonna buy your merch.
Hey, he's a good brother, man.
Yeah, he
Feel
is.
good story. Dreams do come true.
Yes.
It's still real. On that note, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see you next time here on Cheap Pops Radio, sponsored by Cartoon U and Loco Wrestling.
If it ain't local, it ain't fire, Daddy.
Hey everybody, this is Dave Wills, the internet's crying wrestling fan, the original crying wrestling fan. It's seen on Tosh.0, YouTube, and all over social media memes. You're listening to Cheap Pops Radio. Let me tell you right now, you're best in wrestling, comedy, and all kind of stuff. Cheap Pops Radio, oh, it's still rid of me. Damn it.
Spend my days working hard on the go, but the hands on the clock keep spinning too slow. 'Cause I can't wait to be alone with my baby tonight.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening to Cheap Pops Radio, sponsored by JMT Shirts and Cartoon U. Be sure to follow us on all social media platforms at Cheap Pops Radio, and you can reach us at cheappopsradio@gmail.com for anything you'd like to know about Cheap Pops Radio and Cheap Pops Coast to Coast.